What is up all, and welcome to another episode of Mythic Drafting, where today we are doing another March of the Machine draft in the best of one queue. And wow, this is actually a really interesting first pick. We have Yorion Sky Nomad, and then we have Invasion of Amonkhet, as well as a Deeproot Wayfinder here. Now, Invasion of Amonkhet is probably the best uncommon in the set, one of the best cards in the set, but it is two colors. And Yorion is, while it is Azorius, it is also a playable in white or just blue decks. You can play it in blue-white, you can play it in blue-black, you can play it in white-black, you can play it in any combination of white or blue, and it's a much more flexible first pick. I also think when you get to start the draft with Yorion, you can actually companion this pretty consistently, and it's quite an absurd card to companion. So we're going to go ahead and just slam Yorion, I think, first pick. Noting that down to our left, someone's probably going to take Invasion, then probably like Deeproot Wayfinder and Furnace Rains. But we're very happy with Yorion here. And we're going to follow up with a very, very easy Xeric Strobe Knight here. Second pick. Invasion of Archivos is just not playable. It's just too slow. It's too hard to flip this thing. I just haven't ever seen a deck in which it really works. Other cards like I'd consider in this pack, I think Tangled Skyline's good. I like Angelic Intervention, especially with cards like Yorion that you want to protect. But Xeric Strobe Knight just does it all. It's in the better color out of blue and white. In blue, it's a Flying Vigilance 2/2 for 3, which is already good. And then if you're casting 2 spells a turn, you get to make a Knight. 2/2 white and blue Knight creature token with Vigilance, which is great for Convoke, great for going wide and putting pressure on your opponent. And now to follow this up. This is a much more interesting pick here. There's an uncommon missing as well as a rare, but there is a Lathiel the Bounteous Dawn, which has lifelink. At the beginning of each end step, if you gain life this turn, distribute up to that many +1/+1 counters among any number of other target creatures you control. Now, it's certainly a good card, but it's a bit awkward with what we've already taken, in that we basically have to commit Yorion to being white and then go green. And I think I'd much rather stay like a little bit more flexible here. I think it's unlikely that we play this. And I actually think the pick here is probably Aetherblade Agent. I think this is because blue-black's the best deck, and one of the best decks in the format. It's a 2-drop, which is really good. It's a very solid card. And I'd much rather open myself up to be blue-black than lock myself into some kind of white-green deck, which I don't think is where we want to be. Now we have an interesting pick here between Temporal Cleansing. Sculpted Perfection is good with Yorion, and like we certainly could be in a white-black Yorion deck instead, but I think that given there's a Temporal Cleansing here, it's pretty easy to just take that over the Knight of the New Coalition. Although, it's actually quite interesting. There's a lot of different ways we could go here. We could take Knight and focus on like a blue-white Knights deck, and now the New Coalition does play really well with Yorion. But Temporal Cleansing just keeps us more open in that, and I think that's preferable here, in that we're going to look after that point to be blue. And a secondary color is certainly looking to be black, I think, but we're still open at this point. Now this is another interesting pick. There's a Scoured Barrens here. There's an Inga Runas, which I really like, but I think the pick here is going to be Nezumi Informant. It works really well with Yorion. It's probably one of the better black commons. It's a 2-drop. And I don't really want to take another 4-drop. As much as I like Inga, I mean, there is an argument to just taking Inga here, given that it also works well with Yorion. But I think, given that this is a 5th pick Nezumi Informant, and I like blue-black a lot, probably going to lean towards taking the Informant over the 4-drop. I think it's really important in this format to keep your 2-drop slot quite full, and when you can have like a borderline pick there, I think that you want to preference taking something like Nezumi Informant over the Inga there. And now we're just going to go ahead and pick up another Temporal Cleansing. Especially when we're looking at playing a 60-card deck with Yorion, we're going to need more playables, and so while like the second Temporal Cleansing isn't as good as the first one, that's obviously mitigated in a 60-card deck, and we just want our card quality to be very high. So happy to pick up another Temporal Cleansing there. And sort of we're looking to sort of for 34-ish playables outside of Yorion. and 26 land is about right. Sometimes you want to have 27 land, but because you've got Yorion and you like want to just hit your land drops, you've got the extra card already. You're happy to sort of flood out more than you would be in a normal draft deck, and so you know you can get away with 33 playables, 27 land. But if you think about a normal draft deck, you're going to be playing. You know, you play 23 and 17 normally. So if you're just adding 10-10, you're diluting that ratio a little bit and going up. Now we have a pick between Unsealed Necropolis and Bloodfell Caves. I do like taking lands in these kinds of spots, but I really like Unsealed Necropolis. I think if you saw a previous blue-black draft I did, Unsealed's just really valuable. It works really well with Halo Charge Scarb, and there is like a little mini combo that you can set up with like Unseal, Halo Charge Scarb, and a Sack Outlet, which basically allows you to mill out your opponent pretty effectively. In my last draft video, actually, we had C double as well, and C double really C double with Halo Charge Scarb is like the premium version of the Unseal combo. Snail's not a whole lot for us in this pack. I think I'm just going to take Failed Conversion over Stasis Field. We could take like a Wary Thespian, but I just don't want to be going into green at this point for something like that. And again, like if we're playing the 40 card version, Failed Conversion isn't making the cut. But if we're playing the 60 card version of this deck, then it probably is. And now we wield the Halo Charge Scarb, which is nice. I'm not like super keen on playing this, but Halo Charge Scarb with Unseal's good. It's also good with Temporal Cleansings. It's great with Yorion. It's just pretty happy to get it like at a 9th pick, so that you know in the 3rd pack, if we don't have one yet, we sort of have to prioritize one. The other good thing about like blue-black 60 card decks is because of all the mill and the recursion and your ability to sort of like set up your graveyard to access your cards, you can actually like sort of filter through your deck more and find your better cards. Whereas one of the awkward things about playing a 60 card deck is that you might not see your powerful cards as often. So now I get to pick up a Dreg Recycler, which is a card that's gone up a fair bit for me. And you can actually see now I've got Dreg Recycler, Unseal, and Halo Charge Scarb. So the combo is you play Halo Charge Scarb, and then once the game stalls out, if you've got a Dreg Recycler, you can sack the Scarb, put it in the graveyard, and then you can Unseal the Necropolis back, milling them. Then you play Halo Charge Scarb again, you put Unseal back on top, you sack the Scarb again, you play the Unseal, and you're always netting a creature as well from this effect, and effectively you just keep doing that until you mill them out, and it's an alternative way to win the game if it stalls out. So, like again, we're not looking to play Oculus Whelp and Failed Conversion here, but if we need to get up to 33 and we want to play the Yorion as our companion, which I think we probably will, then we're going to need 33 playables, and we're sort of well on our way to that at the moment, just taking all blue-black cards. The one downside to this is that you can't speculate pick as often. So now I've got the pick between Invasion of Kamigawa and Tenured Oilcaster. I don't like Invasion of Kamigawa, and if we're in a mill version of the deck, Tenured Oilcaster again falls into this category of card we may play. Expedition Lookout, though, is a card that in this 60 card version, I'm happy to play as a 2-drop. It's a good defensive creature. It has inevitability with the mill effects, and I'm certainly happy to play it. Another one here, I'm actually going to take Phyrexian Archivist over the Urn of Godfire, and it goes as well into the pile of cards we might play if we're companioning Yorion, but not cards that we're looking to play in a non-companioned deck. I think at this stage it's probably likely we are going to companion Yorion, so we certainly want to like keep that in mind as we're drafting. And now we open up a pretty sweet pack here with Heliod, Collective Nightmare, Stoke, Invasion of Xerex, which I'm a little bit lower on, but in the really aggressive blue-white decks it's still very good. And then 2 fantastic black-red cards, which means that there's a chance that we'll wheel something like Tranquil Cove, which may open up splashes for us. But pretty easy Collective Nightmare here. Very happy to pick this one up first pick. It's always nice to open your pack, and you know if you're not opening a bomb rare, you just want to see some efficient removal for you, or another one of the better creatures like a Preening Knight or something like a Preening Champion or something like that. So yeah, like this draft is off to a fantastic start. Your floor is raised so much simply by having cards like Yorion, and we're super stoked to have this one in our draft deck. And now, wow, this is what I call a pack. I mean, our last pack was good, but Urabrask, Merciless Repurposing, Halo Forager, Ica Drinker, lots of sweet stuff in this one. The pick for us is going to come down to between, like, we're not taking Urabrask as much as I'd love to, like, still haven't got to draft a sweet blue-red Urabrask Spells deck. The pick for us is going to be between the Forager and the Repurposing. And I think, given again we have Yorion, like, you can set up plays with Yorion and Halo Forager where you get to bounce it and take advantage of it. I think it's just a better card than Repurposing. It's just more efficient. And it acts as removal because your opponent also can contribute to the spells in the graveyard that you're going to use. You're going to be able to have access to. So now red is wide open, like Bloodfeather Phoenix is coming through. But I think here the pick's going to be a completed Huntmaster. If we do get some Deadly Derisions, like to make artifact tokens, that's going to be good. Treasure tokens. And we've already got one to zoom in for it. And it's just a better version of Dreg Recycler for the Halo Charge Scarb combo. Because you're netting a 3/3 every turn instead of netting just to drain them for one. So now the pick is between Protocol Knight, Temporal Cleansing, and Traumatic Revelation. Given we've already got 2 cleansings, I'm actually going to take a Traumatic Revelation. This card has been really impressive for me. I'm pretty happy to play it here. And now I think this is a pretty easy Eyes of Gataxias. We're just really solidifying ourselves in blue-black here, picking up cards that we're happy to play, and we're very, very likely at this point to be, a 60-card Yorion deck. Now it's actually interesting, and like we could take a Modi over Ica Drinker, but we don't have any ways to splash it yet, and splashing becomes worse in these 60-card versions because you need more like every free source you have, like a Jungle Hodder, splash it, gets diluted because you're less likely to draw it. So I'm going to go ahead and just stay committed to blue-black here and pick up an Ica Drinker, and we're pretty happy we did because Scornblade Berserker is fantastic with the cards like Ica Drinker, and it makes like our Dreg Recycler, completed Huntmaster, all the better. Also, Scornblade Berserker is pretty good with Yorion as well. And wow, 8th pick Deadly Derision here. Black is wide open at this table. This is just fantastic pickup for us. It's removal, creates a treasure token for completed Huntmaster. Tons of synergy here. And it looks like we're going to have a pretty sweet blue-black deck here. Now, this is an interesting pick. Like, we could take Etched Familiar here, but I think I'm going to take the Tranquil Cove. It's just like a little bit of hedging in case we open something sweet. Although Etched Familiar, no, I think we just take the Cove. Like, we have enough of these worse cards to play. If we don't find anything else awesome in the draft along the way. And now, like, we could play, like, we're not going to play any of these cards. I think I'm just going to take Timberland Ancient. There's, like, I don't think we're going to play it, but, on the off chance that we, open something ridiculous in green, we might play Timberland, like, if we had a Glisser or something, and we had a Skittering Surveyor, and maybe we play this over, like, another forest, but Meteor of the Mines is one we're definitely going to take. Just we've got a lot of little creatures already, and it's a fantastic one with Xeric Strobe Knight because you can go like 2-drop, 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, and then Meteor of the Mines the next turn and cast another spell, create another token. Protocol Knight again falls into this pile here, and so does Urn of the Godfire. Like, we may play that if we need an extra playable, but yeah, certainly looking set up here to be able to companion Yorion. Pelucranos is an awesome one in green, but not one we're looking to splash here. Invasion of Lorn is a good splash card with Yorion because you can bounce the invasion and you get the effect twice, but not really what we're looking to do here, and I just don't see the splash for us really being that free, and we've got a lot of ways to sort of take advantage of these Scornblade Berserkers. It's just such a good card. I think we're going to go ahead and pick that one up here. It's also just like fine with Yorion in that you like bounce it and you get an extra 1/1 counter that you can put on your flyers. Like if you've got 2 Berserker, like a Berserker and playing a Xeric Strobe Knight, play Yorion, bounce it, put the counter on Xeric Strobe Knight again, and just make it bigger. Yeah, I think this deck's coming together quite well. I think it's likely we're going to have to play some of these cards. Not particularly keen on playing like all of them, but it's worth like reducing the card quality in your deck to always have a card like Yorion in your hand. And now we get another awesome card for us in Skyclave Aerialist Pick 2. Very happy with that. It's just a 2/1 fly for 2 mana, which is super efficient. And it also has upside on the backside in that you get a land card, or you get the card in your hand, and then Yorion can like bounce it to flip it and transform it again. And wow, okay, Atris of Half-Truths is an amazing pickup, pick 3 here. In our colors, I think this is honestly like one of the better blue-black rares. It's just so efficient as a 3/2 menace for 4, and you always get to draw 2 cards with it. And with Yorion, we're going to get to do it twice in some games. So Atris is a sweet pickup here. There's potential that we wheel like an Ica Drinker or an Eyes of Gataxias, and like we'd even play Zolfira and Shapecraft probably over these cards because it's cheap and interactive, and like you just want more of that when your Temporal Cleansings and your Deadly Derisions are getting diluted by the fact that we're going to be playing a 60 card deck here. And speaking of cheap interaction, Cyber Cryptomancer here is going to be the pick for us. This card has just really impressed me with its ability to tempo your opponent. Would love, like, if we're white-black, I think Drana and Linvala is fine. Oculus Whelp is decent, but like not really what we're looking to do. And Cyber Cryptomancer allows us to protect our creatures, which is nice. And now we're going to pick up Invasion of Eldraine. This is another card that works really well with Yorion, and if you can bounce it, you get to Mind Rot them again. And I think this is just one of the battles that I'm still pretty happy to play. You can really like affect your opponent's plan if you get to curve out into this thing. It's just a super solid card, and then if you ever get to flip it, the upside is just incredible. You're effectively getting a 2/2 flyer that comes into play and makes them discard 2 cards, and then also deals them damage if they have less cards in hand. Now I get a 6-plate Etherblade Agent. Again, very happy with that. The curve is looking very nice for a Yorion deck. I think we're probably going to end up having to play most of these cards. I don't really want to play the Protocol Knight in this version of the deck, but let's have a look at our interaction here. Got double Temporal Cleansing, Deadly Derision here, Meat of the Minds for some card draw, and then in terms of card advantage, we've got Unseal and Necropolis as well. Traumatic Revelation's a bit of interaction. Cyber Cryptomancer is like interaction as well. And yeah, I think the deck is looking quite nice here. More card advantage in Invasion of Eldraine as well. So what do we want to pick up here? It's a pick between an Oculus Whelp, Tenet Oilcaster. We're actually going to go ahead and take Mirrodin Avenged here. Just with all our like cheap little creatures, I think that this one is potentially going to be pretty good for us. Sorry, that's the Ica Drinker. The Mirrodin Avenged should be coming over here. There's just so many situations in which we're going to have a creature that, an Ica Drinker or a Scornblade Berserker that deals damage, and then we can pick it off. And we're going to take a Halo Charge Scarb here just because of its synergy with Yorion. And now I think we'll pick up Zalfira and Shapecraft, which we're going to probably want to play over the Mirrodin Avenged. It's just a better version of doing it. So yeah, we need 3 more cards to be running 27 land, because Yorion doesn't count. So Thunderhead Squadron's going to come in. Thunderhead Squadron's actually pretty good in this deck because our curve's good. We've got some 3 1-drops, lots of 2-drops, which means we can cast this on turn 4 pretty consistently, which is nice. And wow, the Nezumi Freewheeler comes around, which I'm pretty happy with there. And another Oculus Whelp. So, look, this is the deck at this point. Oh, Unseal and Necropolis is fantastic. I'll play that for sure over. Oh, and another Temporal Cleansing. That should not be going last pick. So now I've actually got some pretty sweet options here in terms of how we build this 60-card deck. And it's pretty rare that you actually get to make cuts from your 60-card Yorion decks here. So I'm going to go ahead and put in Yorion there. And then I think this deck is going to want to play... I think how many... Got a bit more... Probably like 14, 13 I think here. And if we're playing 27 land, we need to cut 1 card here. So I think the cuts are between none of these 2-drops. We want all of our cheap interaction. Eyes of Cataxias comes up here. We've got triple Temporal Cleansing, but I think that card's good in our deck. Kind of like Archivist, but also Archivist is just like pretty medium. I just don't really see any hands in which we want to be drawing Archivist. I think this version of the deck is better than like playing Archivist and cutting like a Cleansing or one of these other creatures. Yeah, I think this deck's pretty sweet. I definitely like the Thunderhead Squadron over the Archivist. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this one goes, but I think the Yorion decks are always pretty strong, so hopefully we can get the trophy with this one, and I'll see everyone in game number 1. Alrighty, here for game number 1. This hand is a keeper on the draw. Yorion makes just so many like more hands playable. And Xeric Strobe Knight into Invasion of Eldraine is a nice one. Can also just go Strobe Knight into Oculus Whelp into Invasion and flip if they don't have a flyer. But they've got the flyer here, so gonna go ahead and just run out Xeric Strobe Knight now. We do want to draw land. If we can draw land, would have been nice to be able to like hold Cryptomancer, but if they got the final flourish there, that's sweet for them. Ooh. So, bit awkward, but I think we just run out completed Huntmaster. And then we're hopefully going to draw a land and be able to play the Invasion. Pretty unlucky there not to draw land for any of our first 4 turns. But those are the beats in Magic. Especially like we're running 27 land in this deck, so we should be drawing like a lot more land than, like a tiny little bit more land, sorry, than normal. So Yorion is going to be great against that. Now I think we just slam Oculus Whelp and we can play Invasion and then set up like a Cryptomancer or a Zhalfirin Shapecraft block. Wow, okay, so opponent is really getting us here. They can't flip this turn. We do have trouble though. So we have options. Like we could Yorion here. Because if we Invasion of Eldraine them, and then Yorion, like they're going to get to flip this most likely. I think it might just be better to just Yorion and lock it in. And then we just say go. It is unfortunate that they get to ping this down to 1. And that we can't like Meteor the Mines here. Jeez. Phyrexian Gargantua is an awesome one. They get to draw some cards. They're very likely going to have removal. It's going to be tough for us. I think we just take that damage. The question is, are we like Cryptomancering here? Because like we can Cryptomancer and then it would become a 3/4 instead of a 4/4, but is that worth the Cryptomancer itself? It's going to be awkward because we can't Cryptomancer to protect our Yorion. I wonder as well if we're meant to just draw a card here. Super interesting line here. I think we just Shapecraft and draw a card. We're just not going to like cast that anytime soon. That's interesting. So we can run out the land. Now I have some like interesting lines in that we can actually just Etherblade Agent and Invasion of El drain them. And then Yorion will get to bounce the invasion as well. And we might hold up Cryptomancer with it. I'm just worried that they're going to have removal here. And this, like, while it's very likely that they're going to be able to put us in a situation where we have to block and chump anyway in order. And if they have any removal spell, we're just pretty stuffed to that. So I think we actually just run out the invasion here. Force them to discard. So they have 2 lands. And then we can just play Etherblade Agent to kill a Gargantua. And hopefully we draw a land. And then we can hold up Cryptomancer for our Yorion. It's certainly close there. But I think that this line, like, they're going to get to flip this now, but it gives us more of a chance. Oh, wow. So another Invasion of Ulgrotha. They can't flip both. See, they should do it. Oh, they're going to do it that way. Okay. Well, now we get the last card in their hand. They should probably, like, flip this and put... Yeah, it doesn't matter. One of them's going to be on 1 no matter what. So, it doesn't matter which way they do it. So, oh, they're going face. Okay. Well, that's actually quite relevant. I think there they actually should... Oh, the fact that it's a legendary creature. No, I think that's right, the way they played that. So now we can play Yorion. We get to bounce 2 permanents here, holding Cyber Cryptomancer to protect Yorion. And now I think we're in a much better position than we were before. So we've got the Guardian of Gorolpur, which is great. Cryptomancer is going to be able to protect Yorion here. And I don't even think we're going to Meeting of the Minds unless they, like, play this card out here. So now they're attacking us with everything. So attacking, going to the face directly here. I think we just want to eat the Grandmother Sengia and say go. Take 6 here. An Invasion of Ulgrotha. Let's see where they put that. Probably on Yorion here. And then we're going to give it hexproof. So now we run out the Cryptomancer in response, which is obviously, like, really good for us, giving it hexproof, stopping that from happening. And now we can, like, we've got the chump blocker here. So I think we just want to run out the Squadron. And then attack here. And Yorion is now, like, we get the Prickle Fairies. We've got a huge flying team now. Let's say go, we're dealing damage, and we can chump here, block here, sack this in response, get an Incubate token. Managed to stabilize pretty well, and that just shows, like, Yorion's just an absurd card. Cryptomancer's fantastic for the play there, and, like, the triple Invasion of Ulgrotha, while I don't mind having one of these cards, and if you've got a Yorion, it certainly gets better, but it's just clunky for 5 mana. And there's a lot of ways in which you can sort of out-tempo your opponent. It's interesting to see what opponents got here, but I think they're probably just attacking for the sake of attacking. So we can't... Oh no, we can actually Meeting of the Minds, but we just need to do it right. So we want to tap... Oh no, we can't do that actually. Yeah, we just want to sack this in response now. We could Meeting of the Minds, but I think we just want to make sure we're getting the Incubate token here out of the Cryptomancer. And we've got Unsealed and Acropolis as well, so we can actually unseal to get, like, a Xeric Strobe Knight and a Cyber Cryptomancer. You know, if they've drawn a removal spell this turn, like, you know, hats, kudos to them. So Final Flourish, sacking Flitting Gorilla. Okay. So they're probably going to put... What are they going to put on top? Guardian of Gorolpur, probably. Yep. But we're going to mill that. We can mill that this turn. So we can, like... What are our options here? We can unseal the Necropolis to get back Yorion and get Xeric Strobe Knight. I'll probably get back Cryptomancer and Yorion. And then we have 4 mana, so we can get more creatures down. Yeah, I think I like this line here. We just show them that we've got this. Oh, so we get... I think we just actually get Atris and Yorion here. And then... just go ahead and... like, we could cast Atris here. And then just double block. Yeah. So Atris is going to draw us some more cards, and Yorion getting to bounce Atris. Like, we can double block here with these two, and like they kill the Squadron or the Huntmaster, and then we get to bounce everything else and flicker the Atris, flicker the Fairies if they like, you know, have a card we want to keep. We just take 2 here. We're not taking 1. It's basically like, I think I've said this a few times in my videos, but you basically always want to take the 2 card pile. It's just way safer, and especially limited when your cards, it's more about having a total number of cards than it is about having you know, the right card as it might be in constructed. So we'll go ahead and discard an Expedition Lookout here. See how opponent attacks. Probably going to attack with Gargantua. We'll double block. It's looking pretty... I mean, we could actually just let this through, but I think it's worth just double blocking here. We know they have nothing. We can meet in the mines now as well. We're really going off of this game. Zoom Informant comes down, but we're just going to go ahead and I think we just get in with the squad. We should have also got in with this as well here. But now we can just go ahead and Yorion and bounce. These, flicker these 2. Say go. We get to Minifactor Fiction again. An opponent is pretty close to just, yeah, I think they see the writing on the wall. They've given us all 3. Certainly a sweet way to win game number 1, and I'll see you for the next one. Alrighty, on to game number 2 here. This hand's going to be a keeper. 4 land. We've got the 2-drop and some Shapecraft as well as Unseal. And yeah, this is like one of the reasons why Companion is just so good. Is like if we don't draw anything to play on turn 3, we can just put Yorion into our hand, and then we'll have it on turn 5. It just gives so much more consistency to your draft decks, and it is really worth, I think, playing around it, building around it in your draft. These things used to be absolutely busted when you didn't even need to pay 3 mana to put it in your hand. But now, of course, I think it's a good change to balance them out, because if this was just, you know, able to cast it from your hand for 5 mana, it would just be even more insane, and just absolutely make it really difficult to ever beat a deck that had a Yorion in it. So now our opponent gets to see what we've got. They're not going to get to take anything out, so we are going to get to put Yorion in our hand. But now drawing Eyes of Gitaxias, I think we actually just want to go ahead and I think we do want to play Eyes over putting Yorion in our hand. Just going to get another card, and Temporal Cleansing is a nice one there. So now I can get in. If they go ahead and flip this turn, we can bounce it. If they pass the turn, we're pretty clear, I think, that that's what they're going to be doing. The other thing is Shapecraft's really good with the token, so we could also just flip the token, attack in, and then if they block, we can Zalfirian Shapecraft, because it becomes a 4-3 with 3 1/1 counters on it. So it becomes a 7-6. If opponent goes ahead and main phases this, that's just amazing for us, because it gives us so much information about what they're doing. The other thing we do have to worry about, though, is they could theoretically like block here, and then we Shapecraft, and they Afara's Dispersal in response, which would blow out like the Shapecraft. And yeah, so now I think it's like pretty likely that they might have they might have the dispersal here. The question is, how much do we care about them having dispersal? It's pretty bad for us if they have it and they bounce the token. Our other option is to just offer the trade with the Shapecraft. So I think we do want to go ahead and just get a little bit of tempo on. And the other option is to just put the Yorion in our hand, but we're not really getting much out of Yorion at this point. So we could bounce this and put it on top, but that's not particularly good. I think we just want to go ahead and get our creature in here and attack. They've very obviously got dispersal here, so they're probably going to like block with Baral and then offer the... I'm not going to go ahead and pump this because they're going to have the dispersal, I think. So they let it through. So that's fine because we've got the 2 unseals. So I'm not actually that upset with how that played out. I'm happy to trade there. And I think if we went for the Shapecraft and they bounced in response, it would have been far worse for us. So opponent's now getting in with their Incubate token. And they're going to load it up, which is fantastic because we're going to have Temporal Cleansing for it. And the question will be whether or not they... Yeah, I think they have to attack there if they don't have Dispersal because we're going to be able to Shapecraft. But so now Halo Charge Scarb. I think we just want to we want to bash in with the bash in here and just play our Scarb. They're going to get to sack here. Sort of think that means they don't have a Dispersal in hand. So we can go ahead and just... I think we want to run the Scarb out. They're probably going to leave this back to block. We're not going to... Oh, we could put Eyes of Gataxius back on top. Eyes is pretty nice. I think we actually do want an Eyes. It's just like we're going to get a... Basically, in this game that looks like it's going to go longer, we're getting a 3/3 and an additional card, which is pretty good on this board. So, happy with that. We've also got the Unseal Halo Charge Scarb combo. So maybe we didn't need the value and we just want to be hitting extra lands to eventually get up to Yorion. But at the same time, I think Eyes is just one of the better cards in our deck. And when we're playing a 60-card deck as well, we're diminishing, how many good cards we have to draw. So here, opponent we milled 2 islands. Awesome art on the opponent's lands here. Really sweet. We're just running with some pretty simple Shadows over Innistrad basics. Might need to up my land game here, but looks like the opponent's taking their time to think this one through. We've also got the situation that if they get their health low enough, Shapecraft can just blow them out with, dealing 7. So, wow, we're mirroring each other here with the Halo Charge Scarb coming down. Mills at. They get Traumatic Revelation, which is not going to be that good for them other than the fact that it can bounce. So now I've got interesting decisions here. We can failed conversion something, or we can just bounce the token and attack with the Halo Charge Scarb. Other option as well is to just bounce and attack with both, or just attack with both first, trade one and kill the other. Shapecraft will, and then we could end step unseal an Acropolis. I think I like just getting in here. Allow us to cast both spells. They know we've got the Shapecraft, so they can't really block here. Go ahead and trade. Now I think we could unseal, but then they get to Traumatic Revelation it out. So this gets creature or battle card. Because we can just unseal. I guess it stops them from getting the 3/3. I think actually we just want to unseal the Necropolis here. Get ourselves the Etherblade Agent because we can play it this turn. And the Halo Charge Scarb. They can make us discard that, but this way we get another creature on the battlefield. They're not going to get the... If they do play this now, they're not going to get another 3/3 body, which I think is also important for us. And we're just putting a fair bit of pressure on them as well. The Aetherblade Agent is going to give us another mana to go for a Temporal Cleansing. And we're just slowly trying to attrition them out here. Like, we've got just a bevy of 2-for-1s. So that, get the Xeric Strobe Knight. They're probably going, I would think, to Traumatic Revelation us here. And we're probably just going to... Like, we really want to draw land, because then we can Temporal Cleansing the 4/4, attack with both, Zalfir and Shapecraft the 1/1. If they block, it makes blocking pretty difficult for them. So, few options on our turn. They're not going to Traumatic Revelation, so... Means they probably have, like, Annihilate Essence. Or, like, they could have Dispersaled. So I wonder if they have, like, Final Flourish here. Pretty interesting spot. I think if they have, we really don't want them to have Assimilate Essence here. I think... Let's just go ahead and attack with the Death Toucher here. We get in. So now I'm less concerned about them having like an Assimilate Essence. And it might just be worth failed conversioning the 2/2 here. I think it is. So like they could have Assimilate Essence, which means this is going to get through that. They probably have a Traumatic Revelation in their hand. Well, we know they have a Traumatic Revelation, sorry. So I think we actually do just want to draw a land here. We just want to start like casting our spells, and we've got so much gas, I think we just want to draw lands. So, oh, they've got their own Unseal and Necropolis there, okay. That makes sense. Probably could have seen that one coming. So they're going to get a Xeric Strobe Knight. Wow, their deck is sweet here. They're going to get a Xeric Strobe Knight, and they're going to get their own Halo Charge Scar back. So now we need to sort of ramp the pressure up a little bit and try and close this one out. It's also like probably key that we get our own Halo Charge Scarb down. Well, if they do play that, if they go ahead and get that one back, we're going to be able to mill whatever they put on top if they do that, unless they have a land in hand and they can go Halo Charge Scarb and Traumatic Revelation, which is pretty brutal for us. But if they do that, I think we can set up a turn where we like Temporal Cleansing away their token and Unseal the Necropolis. Complex game, for sure. So yeah, they get the 2 cards we thought they would get. They're probably going to have a land in hand. We know one of these cards is Traumatic Revelation. Oh no, the Traumatic Revelation got milled. So they don't have that. That's good for us. So they'll be able to play Halo Charge Scarb to go and get like the Unsealed and Necropolis, but then we'll be able to mill out there. So it's kind of like we both, whoever plays the last Halo Charge Scarb here will benefit the most. Opponent gets the Xeric Strobe Knight down there. Opponent has done their own Temporal Cleansing on us, so playing a pretty mirrored game here. We're drawing a land, which is really nice. So now we've got a few decisions. We've got 7 mana if we Temporal Cleansing. Otherwise we can play 2 spells this turn. So we can like Temporal Cleansing this. We could Unseal the Necropolis. What would we get back? There's not a ton to get back at this point. Could like Temporal Cleansing and get Yorion as well. That's not a bad line. I certainly don't dislike that. Opponent is going to get two creatures. They are going to get to start activating this, I think. So we just got to think. The cleansing's good. Shapecraft is also fine. The other option is to play Halo Charge Scarb and do the Incubate token, but then they just mill what we put on top, so that's not good. Because we want to probably get... There's not actually anything that we really need to get here. I think I actually like that line the best. Doing the Halo Charge Scarb and the Ica Drinker. Although Cleansing and Yorion does put a bit more... No, I think we actually just want to do the Halo Charge Scarb and Ica Drinker line, because we want to start getting some pressure on them, I think, this turn. It's more important. So we'll offer the trade here, but just chip away the 1 point of damage. Then we can go ahead and play the Scarb, which incentivizes them to play their own Scarb. So we can bait them with the Unseal here. And if they let us draw Unseal, that's good. But we have our own Unseal. So now they're going to be pretty heavily incentivized, I think, to play Halo Charge Scarb, which makes it more likely that they don't double spell and get to Xeric Strobe Knight. And then we can play like another Unseal and Necropolis to mill whatever they put on top. Like we can go, if we draw a land, we can Unseal and Temporal Cleansing. We can also just Unseal Temporal Cleansing using Etherblade Agent and bounce that token and get in, which I also like. It's a few options. And I think as well getting this Incubate token, this threatens 6 power. So, okay, Corrupted Tawashi. So they get to double spell now, but they don't get this on the battlefield. So they're going to make a knight. We're going to need, I think, to Temporal Cleansing the 4/4 here. Put this back on top. And then I think we just want to get in with the 4/4. Like we could get in with both, but I want to save this. And I don't really want to trade both of these things for them. And like now they have to chump. We can end step flip our Incubate token as well. They're getting pretty low on cards in library as well, so I think milling them is generally a game plan here. I wonder if we're actually meant to be the defensive on the defensive side of things here, and whether we should be like Yorioning to get a 4/5 flyer to have better blockers here. At the same time, though, like we have a pretty, like they have to really respect the Shapecraft Incubated token combo. Like they can't play Halo Charge Scarb and flip this. They're drawing cards with Tawashi. This is a pretty complicated game here. So I think like they're definitely going to get in for 2 in the air. They can also get in for 2 here. We could theoretically like block and trade, but I don't think that's what we want to do. I think we can afford to go to 10. Well, another Strobe Knight that's obviously like super tough for us to deal with because they're going to double spell next turn probably. So they're probably going to ship in with everyone. I mean, we'll definitely trade for the 4/4 token here. We can't afford to take all that damage. It's very likely they can double spell next turn. I think they should probably attack with the 4/4. They're probably actually the beatdown here. I think we're incorrectly attributing ourselves to that. Yes, I think that is fine. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip this. So they're on 11 cards in library. So I think we can just get Yorion here. And then just go ahead and ship the turn because we can Meteor of the Minds and Unseal the Necropolis. So we just want to like hold the defense up here. We've got 10 cards. We're going to mill 3. We can mill 3 this turn. We mill 2 more next turn. And then we can mill again with this. So that's 8 mill cards. They're on 10. Plus, if they're like drawing with the Tawashi, and if they play their own Halo Charge Scab as well, they're going to mill more. So I think the mill is the way to go here, because they've got a 3-turn clock on us, but I think we can out-mill them if we draw a land as well. So they're going to draw here. We've got great ground blockers as well, like the 1-1 trades the 4-4, the 2-2 can trade here. Halo Forager. Ooh, that's a good one. X is 2, so they're traumatic revelationing us. Okay. That's fine. Because now, like, they're gonna, if they strip the Yorion out of our hand, we just go and get it back. So, I'm not concerned with that. They've seen all our cards. I'm going to get in. And now they're beating down. So let's block here. Oh dear, I made a mistake. I should have bloody medium mines before. That's actually really bad. So now we can unseal to get Yorion back. And I think Etherblade Agent could play Scornblade Berserker to get some tokens down. It's not bad. Or the Etherblade Agent. I think Berserk is probably actually good to disincentivize them from attacking into us. So now, okay, so now we can blink. So we've got to think here. We can flicker this to mill 2. We can mill 3 here. That puts them to 1 card. We need to block all 4 ground creatures. And we'd go to 3, so I think we actually need to play Scornblade Berserker, putting a 1-1 counter on, mill this. Yeah, okay. And then we double unseal the Necropolis them, I think is the way to the line to win. We just got to hope they don't have anything. Yeah, okay. So let's put the 1-1 counter here first. Then we're going to go ahead and Yorion. So Yorion comes down and we want to flicker these 2. No attacks. We end the turn. Now we can put the 1-1 counter on the Halo Charge Scarb. And now we want to get the Unseal the Necropolis for the mill. And we say go. So now we can block 4 creatures. We go to 1. If they play Halo Charged Scarb, they go to 1 card in the library, and next turn we should be able to like unseal Necropolis them. And if they have anything to put a card on the top, we can unseal Necropolis again. So hopefully we can get the win here. If they have anything to take out a blocker, we're pretty stuffed. But we do have the Shapecraft to like protect against Final Flourish, which obviously they'd have to sack to get it to completely remove, other than the Scornblade Berserker. But they do know about the Shapecraft, so it's going to be an interesting game. This has been a really toughly fought game. Quite a long game as well, checking in at 20 minutes. So I appreciate if you're still watching. Leave a comment below if there's anything in this game that you would have done differently. Looks like it's close. Opponent's really tanking here. I think potentially we may have cost ourselves the game here if we do lose, just by not realizing maybe like 1 turn earlier that we weren't the beatdown anymore, and that we were actually should have been playing for a mill victory here. But opponents really in the tank. I think if they had a removal spell or a way to get this like clean win, they would have gone for it. They've said good game, so that's the game there. The opponents realised we had the mill win, managed to eke out a very close victory in game 2 there, and I'll see you for the next one. Alrighty, back again for game number 3 with a hand that is certainly a keeper with Expedition Lookout for a bit of defense, and then a Xeric Strobe Knight that can do both. Media of the Minds as well, these Convoke cards are good when we've got these creatures, particularly if we're going to be able to cast like 2 spells. For example, we might be able to cast Strobe Knight, then play Huntmaster and play one of these Convoke spells on the same turn. The only thing will be that to do that, I think we'll actually have to tap the Strobe Knight. So that could be, as they say, problematic. Going to go ahead and run out Xeric Strobe Knight here. Kenra Spell Spear is certainly scary, like if they go ahead and flip this, but if we draw a land, we can always just Temporal Cleansing it away. So Invasion of Mercadia from the opponent. If they go ahead and attack here, I think we just have to double block and trade Strobe Knight for Kenra Spell Spear. Especially now that they're just like powering this bad boy up. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and take this trade here. Like this is actually just a fantastic trade for us. Like they've invested the Scornblade Berserker on that. And so we get to trade our Xeric Strobe Knight for the Kenra Spell Spear and 1/2 of the Scornblade Berserker. So certainly happy for that. So now we can, got a few options here. We can Temporal Cleansing, which I don't love. We can Eyes, but I prefer to Eyes next turn when we can flip it on the same turn. So we can Cleansing, which is not great. We can Meteor the Mines, which is fine to draw cards, but I think we might just want to run the Huntmaster out here. I think we just want to keep building our board. Maybe there's an argument there to actually Eyes of Gitaxiasing instead of Huntmaster, because it can attack next turn as a 3/3 and we play this. And it sort of increases the chance that we draw a land, but not too fast. So now opponent's helping us out here with the mill. They've got a Garuda. The deck looks pretty sweet, black-red deck. We milled a few things here. So we could Eyes to try and hit land here, but I actually think we just want to Temporal Cleansing this Freewheeler. Just put it back. Bit of a tempo play. It also means, like, now that they've put it second, when they play it, we're going to get to mill again, and our Expedition Lookout is going to be unblockable when they play this Nezumi Freewheeler in the next turn. Invasion of Eldraine here. So I think we just want to ditch these two. Go ahead and get the Unseal and Acropolis. It's going to guarantee draw us 2 spells we can cast. It also mills our Nezumi Freewheeler. So I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, and then we get the... Yeah, so let's go ahead and Unseal to mill that Nezumi. And we hit the jackpot here. We get Atris and we get Xeric Strobe Knight. So that's 2 fantastic ones for us. Now we can just get in because the Expedition Lookout is unblockable now. So in a pretty decent spot here. Atris is probably going to come out next turn. Opponent can rouse rainfall. Opponent's got some gas here as well. They are cooking themselves here. So we could go ahead and play Halo Charge Scarb, or we could just play the Atris. I think we just want to play out Atris here because next turn we can then like Xeric Strobe Knight and Yorion. Or like if we have draw another spell. So yeah, let's go ahead and just see what we hit off the Atris here. Opponent can get some serious value with Huntmaster and these tokens, but it's a little bit slow, and we have the unblockable. So they have to deal with this threat. They're also going to have to deal with Yorion. If we can set up a situation, yeah. So in this case, like it could be tempting, for example, to take Aetherblade Agent, but we just want to take the 2-card pile here, and we get rewarded with another agent there as well. So now you can go ahead and... Oh, we should have attacked, my bad, with the Expedition Lookout there, but the agent means that like we'll be able to play... Our line of play will be Xeric Strobe Knight, get Yorion. The next turn, Halo Charge Scarb, Aetherblade Agent, tap this, and then play Yorion the turn after. So opponent's gone all in on the Pyretic Prankster here. We could sack something, but I don't think we need to. So now let's go ahead and Strobe Knight. And I actually think we just want to hold back the Expedition Lookout. It's possible we will Like, we don't want them to flip these battles, so I think we just need to play a little bit more defensively here. Could put some pressure on them, of course. I think we're pretty happy to just trade here. Don't really mind this. Like, we're going to have so much card advantage. I don't think it matters that we're 2-for-1ing ourselves here a little bit. So we can sack the Lookout now. We want to be able to flicker with Atris here. So now we could Traumatic Revelation them here. I think there's some impetus for doing that. Yeah, I actually think we just want to see what's in the opponent's hand here. Worst case scenario, we get an Incubate token. But like, they could have a Tali or something. Okay, so Merciless Repurposing. It's good to know that they've got that one. Now I can go ahead and... They should have actually done that in response, because now I can Halo Charge Scarb here. We've cast a spell, so if they go to Merciless Repurposing in response here, we can actually create the 2/2 Knight. So yeah, they're going to do that. We can create the Knight. Halo Charge Scarb comes down. And we just want to get Unsteel the Necropolis here. And start the little value engine. Because now we're next turn, like, we're going to play Etherblade Agent, Flicker. Or like Flicker and do this. We get to Halo Charge Scarb and Atris, and really, they're just, like, they're now drawing desperately to try and get out of this. I mean, they can... They've got Unsteel and Necropolis, so they can... Okay, Shivan Branchburner. They're going to get to flip one of these. That's nice for them. So opponent's got a pretty sweet little deck here as well. So we get to flip here. Or play Etherblade Agent. But I actually think we need to start putting some pressure on our opponent. So I'm happy to just go ahead and get in with the 3/3. They can trade Huntmaster for it, but I'm actually happy with that, given that they can cash in these 1/1s. Also happy for them to just trade a 1/1 there. And we're going to go ahead and Yorion now. Flickering Atris and Halo Charge Scarb. Come back to the battlefield. We definitely want to draw 2 first. So here I think we just take pile 1. There's like, when there's 2 lands as the option, I think in this situation we don't need a ton of land. It's actually worthwhile. And now I think we probably want the interaction in getting some form of it with Temporal Cleansing here, given we're probably going to be tempoing a little bit of a tempo fight here. Hoarding Broodlord off the top for the opponent. Wow, that's a sick one. Glad we got the Temporal Cleansing here, because now we can actually cleansing that. They put it away and we unseal and Necropolis it off. So that's certainly good, but geez. Got great blocks here as well, so they can't get in unless they've managed to like convoke something here. They can convoke something for Yorion. But if they do that, they leave themselves pretty exposed to 7, 10, 12 damage, and that's a tough spot to be in as well. So now we can Temporal Cleansing away this Hoarding Broodlord, which I think we definitely want to do. Means that they won't be able to convoke their spell anymore, which I'm pretty happy with. They're going to put it second, I think. So now we can get in. I think we just want to get in with these. We can unseal the Necropolis back to Halo Charge Scarb. This guy has Menace, but I don't want them to eat anything with the 4/4, so I'm just going to go ahead and get in here. them trading like that as well is so good for us. I actually wonder if they're not meant to do that, and they're meant to just try and flip that battle. But they're probably thinking like they've got the Huntmaster to come down. We're going to go ahead and unseal on that end step to get rid of the Hoarding Broodlord. They have 10 cards in their library. We're also like pretty happy to trade Atris here, given we have the unseal. So go ahead and trade here. That's super fine for us. Wonder what they've got. Probably something absurd with this, but let's go ahead and unseal the Necropolis. Just trying to like value them out here. So Halo Forage is actually probably more relevant than the Atris here. So I think let's go ahead and grab the Forager. Having the extra spell is just like very, very useful. So now we'll play out the Swamp. So we could Halo Forager for Merciless Repurposing, but we can only do that next turn. Not really that much else. Opponent has seen the value engine on the wall. It must be pretty frustrating to see the inevitability there. But getting win number 3, these games are a bit of a grind, but I'll see you for game number 4. Alrighty, back again for game number 4. This hand is going to be a mulligan. We can mulligan more effectively given we've got the Yorion. So going to go ahead and keep this. Yeah, we can mulligan more effectively because of that. I think this hand probably doesn't want the temporal cleansing. Like, we're not super tempo-y here, so I think go ahead and put that on the bottom. And failed conversion is just like a little bit more permanent removal, which we kind of need with this deck. Like, there are some cards that give us problems. So, going to go Nezumi Informant here. Yeah, so Yorion can just mulligan, like with Yorion, we can just mulligan so much more. Those like medium hands, there's no point. Like, we've basically got a 7-card hand anyway. And so very happy to take the mull there. Up against, it appears, a multicolor green deck here, so we're going to expect some bombs. Let's go ahead and just get in with Nezumi Informant here. And then put Yorion into our hand. So now next turn we'll be hopefully drawing land. Desperately need land still. Printing Champion's a good one from the opponent. So now it's pretty awkward. Like, we can Halo Forager to have something to trade with the Printing Champ. Which I think is fine given we have Unseal and Necropolis. And let's just go ahead and make use of our mana here. Yeah, really wanted to draw a land there, but obviously you just can't win them all. So opponent looks to be green-blue based, splashing white. So I'm going to go ahead and trade here. It just means like our Unseal and Necropolis, if we don't draw a land, is actually castable. So it's definitely good, like, to make it so that it's very likely that we hit 2. If we are in a situation where the only play we can make is casting Unseal and Necropolis. Very happy to hit the land there. Let's go ahead and slam down Oculus Whelp and ship the turn. Now next turn we'll be able to like attack in with the Whelp. Hopefully if we draw a land we can play Yorion, make them discard another card. And then we're just going to try and, as we have been with all of these games, just really like value engine them out here. So there's the land. We can go ahead and attack with Oculus Whelp. And then get in with our Yorion. So let's go ahead and exile these. Get to make them discard another card with Nezumi Informant. And reset our blocker here. So they're on a pretty short clock, which is good. Failed conversion will make this a 1-1 if their play is to flip that, and their plan is to ride the 5-5 to victory a little bit here. Wow, so that own Yorion coming down, that's sick. They're going to get to blink those, get 2 more incubate tokens. So they got a hell of a lot of value out of Yorion. We'll go ahead and hit them with the genuine nice there. That's a sick line from the opponent. But still, we're going to be putting them under a fair bit of pressure here with the failed conversion onto Yorion. We've got some chump blockers as well. So Let's go ahead and just whack that on Yorion here. And then just get in. Opponent's probably going to chump. Yeah, so they're going to chump. The question is, do we want to land here? We want Scornblade Berserker. So land lets us cast 2 cards next turn. So I quite like that. And I think the cheap creature in Scornblade Berserker is also a nice one to just chump. So they're probably going to flip and swing, and we can... Don't think we want to chump this turn, but we can chump the turns after. Although actually I think maybe we do just save the 5 damage here. It's not going to get any better for us. Let's go ahead and just eat a 5 here. We go to 12. If they have anything for our flyers, we're pretty screwed at this point. If they have Realm Breaker's Grasp, or if they have like a Dispersal to bounce 1, it's just such a like big tempo play here. So Enduring Bond Warden, that's one we're very happy to see here. Like, not at all fussed. They've got that, but they're probably going to have Dispersal. No, they don't. So Oracle of Tragedy as well. So they've got 12, 14 power and toughness here. But we're going to go ahead and just fly over the top. Put them to 6. Play out Oilcaster. And then play out Aerialist. And just hope that they don't have enough to push through the damage here. We'll be able to kill them in the air. I think as well we're only going to chump with 1. With the Tenured Oilcaster if they swing out. Because Scornblade Berserker makes it so that we can... Oh, wow. So opponent's getting in. Tap down the Oilcaster. We have to block a 5/5. And I think we just live here on 2 life. Yeah, so we got a 2. And then we put the Berserker counter on the Oilcaster so that they have to be able to deal with 2 of our threats here. That doesn't look like they have anything. We get the win. I think we played that one pretty well. 4-0 so far with this deck, showing the redundancy of Yorion. I'll see you for game number 5. Alrighty, back for game number 5 here with another keeper. Got the Expedition Lookout for the defense. I think we actually like maybe run out the Halo Forager here. Although maybe we just put Yorion in our hand. I think that's probably going to be better. The consideration is like we can... Sometimes you can just play like Halo Forager as a flying attacker. And like we put a ton of pressure on our opponent if we do that. So now... Actually just going to bin Temporal Cleansing. I just want to have the mana. I think we're just going to run out Halo Forager here. This could be incorrect, but... Like, I think we're just going to put a ton of flying pressure on our opponent. And Black-Red doesn't have a ton of ways to deal with flyers outside of 1-for-1 removal. So, just going to signal our intent here. Marauding Dreadship from opponent is fine. They can't crew it this turn. And now we can just play Oculus Whelp. Next time we can Revelation and put Yorion in our hand. Yeah, I think... If they want to flip this to attack in, we can trade this for the 4-1. Although we're like absolutely outracing them at this point, so I don't even know if we need to necessarily do that. Because it does, like, it only downgrades the damage we're taking by 2 points, because we're not going to be able to block this, the 2-2. And it holds back all of our little shitters. So I think actually we just probably, like, if they do flip and go for the Dreadship line, we can just let the Dreadship hit us. We're probably actually holding off more damage this way. So now, actually super interesting. I think we just get in with Forager, Oculus Whelp. They're probably going to go for a removal spell here. They don't have one, I don't think. Okay, so now we can put Yorion in our hand, and we're not actually going to Traumatic Revelation here because we want to hold Cyber Cryptomancer. In case they, like, have a removal spell here. Yeah, so now Cyber Cryptomancer comes down. This is just a huge tempo swing for us. That was an amazing draw. We block down Nahiri's Warcrafting. We up the power and toughness of our flyer. They just get to put an Ica Drinker down. They don't have any attacks. And we're going to get to pump our flying squad. It's like, if they go for the Marauding Dreadship attack here, I'm just like not fussed. We just eat. We just eat here. Opponent probably didn't realize, probably didn't want to attack there, but yeah, we go ahead and get in the air. They're down to 4. Now we can just Yorion. Bouncing these two. And Cryptomancer's going to make the Oculus Whelp a 4-3. So we've got 3 lethal flyers in the air. Pretty tough for opponent to come back from this spot. I think this is going to be win number 5 here. Don't really think there's any card combinations that can get them out of that. That's the win, and I'll see you for game number 6. Alrighty, back again for game number 6. And this hand's definitely a keeper. We've got Dreg Recycler, Traumatic Revelation, Yorion. One of our better cards as well in Deadly Derision, so... And also a Nezumi Informant, which we're very happy to play here. Go ahead and discard a card, opponent. So now it's interesting, like next turn we can actually play one of these, or we can just put Yorion in our hand, and then play both of them on turn 4. Mutagen Connoisseur, so opponent, yeah, I think this is a pretty perfect window to just go ahead and put Yorion in our hand. Might seem like counterintuitive, but if we draw a land next turn, like we can play both of these anyway. War Historian from the opponent. There's the land we needed. So now we go ahead and Traumatic Revelation them. I want to do it first. Wow, so yeah. Opponent doesn't have any black sources right now. Sheldon's double black. So there's like an argument we could let them keep Sheoldred and just bin the Vat Keeper. And then they're just left with the Cosmic Hunger. Sheoldred's just so problematic for us if they do draw something for it. Yeah, I think actually we just bid the Vat Keeper. Like, it's just statistically extremely unlikely that they draw a black source, 2 black sources. So, and also we're going to be able to Yorion them and discard a card at some point. So it's like likely that at some point this Sheoldred gets stuck in their hand. No blocks from us here. So there's 1 black source from the opponent. So we could go ahead and Yorion now. They'll probably Cosmic Hunger in response. Our other options to Halo Charge Scarb. Or like hold up Deadly Derision for Skyclave Aerialist. I think let's just see what they do this turn. I think we can blow them out with the Deadly Derision. If they draw a Swamp, like obviously it's bad for us. But now like the fact that we took the Vat Keeper, they can't cast Vat Keeper. And they would have been able to do that this turn. They might go for a flip of the Aerialist here. So there's another land drop. They can flip Aerialist. Or they can play Cosmic Hunger. The other option is like we double block War Historian. They're obviously, I think, a little bit annoyed that they're not drawing the land. But that's sort of... Yeah, so now we get to blow them out with the Deadly Derision here. On the Aerialist. It's just like obviously insane for us. They're going to get to attack. We can go ahead and no blocks that. And now it's our turn. So we can go ahead and Yorion here. They're going to have to choose between discarding the Cosmic Hunter that they can cast and the card they might never be able to cast. So that is good for us. Nezumi Informant also pretty strongly mitigates Sheoldred. And we can do the Temporal Cleansing and then Halo Charge Scarb combo. So they've kept Sheoldred. I think that might be right in that they probably realize like they need to draw a Black Source and have the swing of Sheoldred to win this game. But like if they don't draw it, we've just basically locked the game up now. So yeah, now we can go ahead and just attack with Yorion here. They'll probably block. We'll Cryptomancer to get it through. Start putting the pressure on them. And then I think we can just cast the Tenured Oil Caster here. This thing's going to get pretty big pretty quickly when we Halo Charge Scarb them. Or we unseal an Acropolis. But yeah, we're going to want to Halo Charge Scarb next turn to get Derision back anyway. So I think it was really the right play to leave them with the Sheoldred. It may seem like counterintuitive there to leave them with one of the strongest cards in the set. But wow, and there's Pelucranos Reborn. So that's another really nice one. But we're probably going to do the Temporal Cleansing Halo Charge Scarb trick here with that one as well. So we can just go ahead and Temporal Cleansing this. We want to pay one with Cyber Cryptomancer so that we can unseal on their end step. Actually, we probably just want to unseal now because it will power up our Tenured Oil Caster. So we only get one card out of it, but now we are getting in for 10 a turn, which is really nice. And we just got to hope they don't draw anything for Sheoldred. If they do draw the Swamp, it's not great. But that was the turn they had to draw it. I mean, they're just dead on. Wow, so there's Jin-Gataxias. They've got 2 Praetors. That's sweet. They're going to attack. We just get to drain them for 1 here and hit them for 5. Oh no, they've got the... They can't attack here. So we just... I don't think we actually drain them here. I think we just say go. We just get in with Yorion in the air. And we'll be able to drain them next turn. And then we'll just play Halo Charge Scarb here to put Deadly Derision on top. This just locks up that this Sheoldred's not going to be a problem. Like, they're not going to be able to play it and flip it on the same turn. Even if they draw the Swamp here. So should hopefully have this one locked up. Opponent's deck was like, it's pretty sweet. Like, they've got some really powerful green cards going on here. But the double splash is potentially a little bit greedy for Sheoldred. I certainly think, like, when you're just having fun in this set, I would 100% go for it. But at a higher level event, definitely not what I would be, the line I would be going for here. So they've drawn a card. They're actually going to get to incubate here. If they draw a land, they're going to get to cast Sheoldred. And I just think it's just going to be too late here. So they come down. We sack the Cryptomancer. We drain them for 1 here. We just go ahead and kill the Sheoldred. I mean, don't even really need to do that. And then just ship the team. That's the game. 6-0, and I'll see you for the final game, hopefully, as we go for the perfect trophy run. Alrighty, coming in for game number 7. We are on the draw, and this hand's going to be a keeper with Yorion. If we just draw some lands, this hand's probably one of our better possible starts. I think we just... No, we just want to hold the Scornblade Berserker here. It's going to allow us to eventually sack the Cryptomancer and draw a card off it. So I'm happy to hold it. Although there is an argument there to actually just running it out. This opponent has gone Omen Hawker. The argument for running it out is like, wow, change the equation in the main board. Wow. I haven't had that one get me yet, but that's sweet. So now, I mean, we can we could run it out here, or we can just go ahead and grab Yorion. And I think it's much better to grab Yorion there. Yorion's going to do a bit of work in this, especially, you know, given that they're a bit mana screwed here. So now we could play Scornblade Berserker, but it's just going to put a 1/1 counter on itself and then flicker. It's not really that good. I think I'm happy to just pass. It's kind of awkward. Maybe we should have just like made this a 2/3. But yeah, I don't know. So now they're going to get to activate this on their end step. Maybe you should have Collective Nightmare the Omen Hawker in response to the eyes. That was probably a bit of a mistake there, but we're just going to go ahead and Halo Charge Scarb here. Start milling. We can, like, if we hit something nice, we can get it back here. They're going to transform. Definitely going to take Temporal Cleansing here. So now, that's sweet. We get to deal with this with the cleansing. We'll get to flicker and get another one. I think we probably should have Collective Nightmare the Omen Hawker, though. Just, like, slows that tempo down significantly. Not too concerned about an Alabaster Host Sanctifier, but they're probably going to have like a Temporal Cleansing, I think, here for our Halo Charge Scarb. Yeah. So there's the Temporal Cleansing. We definitely want to keep our old Scarby boy. He's a good one. So now I've drawn the Cleansing. Could play both of these and Cleansing off one of them and get it. I'm thinking like we could get a 2/3 here. But that seems super bad. We could make Cyber Cryptomancer a 2/3 and then keep this guy around. Just like pump up off the Yorion and Temporal Cleansing them. I kind of don't mind that line. We just back up our Crypto Boy. Put the +1/+1 counter on it. It just like does a bit of work on this board and slows that tempo down. So tap this one, auto pay the lands, kill that 3/3, and then like the Cyber Cryptomancer can hopefully hold this board up and really slow them down. Our other options, like we just take 3 there. I don't love that, especially when like we're gonna be grinding them out with Halo Charge Scarb and our removal package here. So now it's obviously like, oh. I think they must have misclicked. Oh no, of course. Cyber Cryptomancer, holds it the whole time. So now, sorry, has hexproof the whole time, so they can't tap that. So now we can actually just Halo Charge Scarb here, and we're going to go ahead and get back our Temporal Cleansing. Could get a Traumatic Revelation here instead, actually, to take something out of their hand. But we've got enough removal for creatures here that I actually don't mind. I don't mind them having it. I don't mind them having creatures, and I don't know when we're going to get an opportunity to cast that. Whereas, like, next turn we can Cleansing with our team, play Yorion, flicker the whole team if we want to. But then we lose the counter on the counters on the Cryptomancer, which isn't great. So the Protocol Knight, another one coming down here now. Tapping down the old Scarby boy. Which is fine. So we could Temporal Cleansing here, but that doesn't seem great. I think we just want to get Yorion down and get the big flyer online. So go ahead and flicker these. And then just ship the turn. The backup counter, it's tempting to put it on the Cryptomancer because of the hexproof. I think it's actually worth doing this because hexproof on the Cryptomancer is just really really good. Now, do we want the Traumatic Revelation? I think we do. Because now, like this turn, we can play 2 spells with the Traumatic Revelation. We get information from them, so we can craft how we're playing a lot better. And if they have a creature we can't deal with, we get to take it down. So I'm not too fussed with Knight of the New Coalition here. Of course, they could have Artistic Refusal in hand. They've got their own Temporal Cleansing here. Certainly, like, not the worst. We're just going to draw that one. So, we know our next 2 draws now. We've sort of got the board locked up. We've got 3 removal spells in our hand. In a pretty good position here, I think. Let's just go ahead and Traumatic Revelation them to kick things off. Wow, Invasion of New Phyrexia. We get to take that one down. Opponent's seen the writing on the wall. That is the 7-0. I think that is my first 7-0 draft for the channel. I've had a 7-0 sealed before, but showing the power of Companion and Yorion in this one. Getting all 7 wins with some pretty complex games in there, so I hope you enjoyed the video if you're watching all the way through. Let's take one last look at the deck, and of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. It really helps the channel, and I really do appreciate it. And leave a comment below. I like to reply to comments, so if you've got any questions about any of the lines that I took and why I took them, be sure to do so. And also, if you've got any different lines that you might have suggested in a place, be sure to leave a comment with those as well. And with that, I'll see you next time.